Okay, so here's the Odyssey. Has a plasma cannon, cryoblaster, couple of sabots, hurricane, some mini pulsars. Here's the weapon groups. Got a couple of Xiphos. And here's the skills. Notice that the officer is reckless. All three are identical. Here's the Hyperion. Again, all six are identical. Okay, here are my skills. So, gonna show off a weird behavior of the Odyssey. Gonna just start off by gathering the waypoints, and I'm gonna have, once they get the objectives, then I'm gonna have them end up defending at that point, so that they will gather at that point. Speed it up briefly. And I'm just gonna, just for accuracy's sake, I'm just gonna run it at regular times, just so there's no question about whether or not, anything weird might be going on due to the speed up mod. I don't think there are any problems, but this is just to remove any sort of possibility. So I'm actually gonna play it in regular time. Although I briefly sped up there. All right, so here, get some more Hyperions to come in. Again, remaining Hyperions. And then once they come in, I'm going to go and order everybody into a full assault once they kind of gather up. All right, they've sort of gathered up here. Now let's go ahead and have them fight. Now, so notice that everybody's on full assault. I'm gonna zoom out all the way. Let's see, let's center around him. Center the view around, there we go, the Radiant. Now the interesting thing to watch for is the behavior of the Odysseys. They are under full assault, right? All the officers of the Odysseys and the Hyperions, they are all reckless. So what we would expect, I'm going to center the view on the Radiant. What we would expect is that the Odysseys would be busy trying to attack. Instead, we see that they're just going to be on the side. This is pretty much reproducible. They're just going to hang out, go around to the right, and not really do much. Now, if one of the Odysseys does get close to the battle, then it will actually attack. So there's a certain thing with the AI. It seems like if it gets close to an enemy, then it'll decide to commit to fight. But if it's away, then it'll decide just to stay away, and that is very much undesirable behavior. And so we'll see if Odyssey 2 decides to go in and fight. But otherwise, you can see right now all three of them are deciding just to stay away. They're going to try to flank or something, but they're just going to stay away from the fight. Maybe it's because of the missiles, who knows. But they're just going to stay away. They won't really commit to fighting anything. They're not really going to go in. Just going to go around. This part is a little bit chancy in that sometimes they do go in, and if one of them gets close to an enemy unit, it will go in and attack. But otherwise, it just kind of stays away. And this is, fairly reproducible. You will see these purple things, by the way. Here we go. So number 2 has seen something, so it'll go after that ship. It'll actually fight. You will see these purple things. Those are just sabots. I got sick of not being able to see the sabots, so I changed the graphics to be purple with a nice big tail just so I can see it, but it's actually just vanilla sabots with a graphic change. I just went into the projectile information and changed the graphics. But those are actually sabots. Now, so you see these Odysseys, they basically just went around the whole fleet, never really fought. This one, Odyssey 3, looks like it will go ahead and fight because it gets close enough. And when it gets close enough, it'll actually decide to commit to fight. The other two are just kind of waltzing around, staying on the outskirts, kind of going around the whole fleet. Now you see the bulk of the fleet is here. And now he will actually go and fight. What he should be doing is he should be, plasma burning. There we go. There's a couple of burns. Try to get some speed. Put some speed to the distance between him and the Radiant. Take out that Fulgent. What are the other two doing? Yep. They're just hanging out. They're not really doing much. They're just kind of, hey, we'll just kind of go around everybody. Don't really want to do anything. We'll just kind of go around everybody. And he actually is kind of coming and fighting. But the remaining ones, just kind of like 1 and 2. Oh, 1 seems to have found something. Mostly because this is actually that's the spawn point. They basically went all the way around to where they're spawning, where the spawn point is. Here's the spawn point. They basically went all the way around instead of trying to fight through the ships. Now let's do something. Let's end combat, just so we can take a quick look at the stats. So you can see that what happened there is, those two didn't really do much. They just stayed outside. Odyssey 1 is the only one that actually did anything. Now, if I go ahead and load the same game, okay, so just loading the same save. Now I'm just going to make one change. Take out the plasma cannons. Okay, take out the plasma cannons. I'll go ahead and repair the fleet. Notice that means that there's a bunch of unused OP, but that's okay. I just didn't want there to be any issues with maybe because the total, flux capacity change or something. So I removed the plasma cannon on all 3 Odysseys. I'm gonna do the same thing. He goes over there. He goes over there, and have the whole fleet gather up here. So what's changed? Without the plasma cannon, obviously there's less offensive potential, but the other thing is also that he's not as overfluxed. Not sure if that affects things in that he doesn't have as many weapons using up flux, so he has way more flux capacity or flux, vent dissipation than what his weapons use. So not sure if that affects the AI in any way. But what you'll see is all I did was remove the plasma cannon. Otherwise, the save is still the same. Everything else is still the same. They're still all reckless and everything. All right, now that he got that, I'm going to have him do that. Wait for the fleet to gather up. Once the fleet kind of gathers up, okay, sure, about there. Let's go ahead and order them to full assault again. And let's center the view on the Radiant again. And we'll see, without the plasma cannon, we will see that they will go ahead and close in and commit to fighting. Now, previously they went around. You can see that they still do tend to circle a little bit, but Odyssey 1, instead of going around that way, he will kind of head in a little bit closer. I think this guy might have been trying to hit the target over there or something. So he'll actually go ahead and head in and fight. Same thing with the Odyssey 3. He'll actually go ahead and fight. Odyssey 2, right now he's kind of going to the side a little bit. You can see the direction marker mod indicating what direction they're heading in, so we'll hopefully see Odyssey 2 change direction soon. But what happens is without the plasma cannon, they're actually more willing to fight when it should be the other way around. They should be more hesitant to fight because they don't have as much weapons weapons to bring, or that they can put onto their target. So they should be less willing to fight now. Instead, they're going to actually commit to fighting. This guy's obviously committed to the Radiant. We'll see what these two guys do. See if they still circle around the target, but I don't know if they're trying to chase that guy right now or something. Yeah, but you can see, yeah, you can see Odyssey number 2. He's actually heading back in toward that ship. Oh, well, that ship died. Maybe he's avoiding that Hulk. Who knows? But they will actually go ahead and head in toward the fleet instead of staying away. So without the plasma cannon, they're actually more likely to commit to fighting. So you see, they're actually zooming in. They're actually using the plasma burn to try to head into combat. Yeah, if they don't have, if they do have the plasma cannon, they'll actually stay out. Again, the purple thing, that's just the sabos. That's just so I can see the sabos. Otherwise, they're too hard for me to see. Because I got burned by that too many times. Decided to just change the graphics just so I can recognize when they're there. But you can see now they'll actually go ahead and fight. They're actually going to run in, head into combat, even though they don't have that plasma cannon. Oh, yeah, the ship I was targeting died. Let's go back onto there. Yeah, I could probably just target one of my own ships, huh? Just keep it centered on one of my own ships. But you can see, yeah, without a sabo, without a plasma cannon, they'll actually bother to fight. So they're actually coming in and actually trying to do stuff. Not sure what this guy's doing, but at least he's heading in and trying to fight instead of staying out. So I'm not sure if it's some sort of a broadside behavior where because a plasma cannon is a broadside, he decides a broadside instead. But regardless, there's no need for him to be, staying away even if he is broadsiding, because this is not naval combat directly where the ship has to be facing its direction of motion. Ship is perfectly capable of turning to the side, heading facing perpendicular to the direction that it's traveling in, right? So there's no need for it to be trying to hang out on the side or to go around a fleet in order to use its broadsides. So you can see, yeah, it'll actually try to fight stuff. It'll actually go in and try to fight. It's the opposite of what we want it to be. We would like it where if it does have more weapons, it's more willing to fight. So you can see because of that, we go in and we check out the combat, and we can see, well, I guess this one didn't do much, but the others you can see percentage, each of them did, over 20% of the damage there.